Hey guys, today I have the Kat Von D Fetish Palette to review for you. The packaging is pretty cool. It's got like almost looks like patent leather, and then this feels just like, what do you call it? I can't think of the word. It looks like it's satiny, but it doesn't feel satiny, and it's got kind of like a whip design, so that's pretty cool. This is bigger than I thought it was going to be, than how it looked on the website, but then again, last year her holiday palette was massive too, so this is a very odd shaped one. It's kind of like an oval, and the downside of that for me is, like, I'm very anal about the way I store my eyeshadow palettes, and when brands start making them all different shapes and sizes, it drives me nuts. So it's like it doesn't flow with the rest of her palettes. I'm sorry if you hear pounding. My son is having a grand old time in the other room. So this is the Fetish palette. Let me open it up. There is a giant mirror inside. It is magnetic. It's got kind of a red border. Oh, I just stuck my finger in that shade. And then it's got a whip going around the outside, kind of little imprints from the eyeshadows themselves. You can't really fold this all the way back to flip it over, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna stand it up like this so you can see. So there's 24 shades in this palette, and they're all new shades. I don't see any repeats from past ones. I am going to try to swatch these with my finger and a brush, just because I know people like when I show both, so not doing any primer or anything on my skin so that you can just see how they swatch and apply and everything without that. So the first one is Nylon. This is a matte grayish taupe. We'll see how many I can fit on my hand when I swatch. And then I'll do it with a brush. I'm just using a Wet n Wild brush. Again, no primer or anything, so that's just straight up on my skin. Oops. Alright, then get a baby wipe ready. This next one is, what does that say, Kink? It's a matte, kind of bright violet. That one's not the greatest pigmentation wise, it's kind of patchy. When you blend it out, it blends okay, but now there's like an airplane or a jet going over the house. Yeah, it doesn't want to pick up whatsoever on the brush. So that is not the greatest shade. It's crumbly, it's not picking up. Not the greatest. Purples are usually hard to do, and they're very hit or miss in Kat Von D palettes, so that one's not the greatest. Blindfold. This one is a metallic kind of, this one's hard to explain actually. It's like a brown with a rose tint to it. Like a rosy hue. I'm sure this one will swatch good with a brush because it's got metallicness. Very shiny. Deviant, this is another metallic kind of icy purple. That one's super pigmented, very pretty. And that one is good with a brush too. Then we've got Whip. This one is a really dark brown with gold glitters in it. Oh my goodness, of course, because I want to film, there's a ton of traffic going by. I live on a really dead street. It's dead most of the time, and of course today someone's mowing their lawn. I'm gonna go shut the window. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Alright, so now we'll do Whip with a brush. and the glitter transfers really well. There's not too much glitter fallout with it, which is nice, because it's a very glittery shade. It definitely looks more brown when applied with the brush than with the finger swatch. And then the last one here is Suspension. This is just a dark brown matte, like a chocolate brown. Let's do another coat here. That one's very soft. And then I will do it with a brush. Although my brush is still a little damp, I kind of don't want to stick it in there. Yeah, see, my brush was damp and now it's going to be super dark. Let's not ruin the eyeshadow here. That's what that one looks like. Hopefully my hand doesn't look dirty now, because that brown one did not want to come off. Alright, the next one is Rope, and this is a metallic, kind of like a brick color. It's a reddish brown. Very pretty, super pigmented. The metallic ones are all pretty pigmented in this palette. So there is Rope. Then we've got Sex, which is kind of like a butternut squash type color. It's just a matte orange. Let's see. There's the finger swatch, and then I hate to do a brush swatch and get it wet. If all my brushes weren't filthy right now, this would be much easier. Yeah, this brush is dirty now, so it's not going to want to give you a good swatch here. It picks up somewhat decent on the brush, but my brush is dirty from swatching the others, so it's a little bit darker than what it should be. Then we're doing Latex. This is like a matte, really dark blue with like blue and purple glitter in it. Oh, that had some fallout. And that one kind of isn't as pigmented as you'd think it would be. It is very pretty. Hopefully you can see all the glitter in there. So I haven't used this one on my eyes yet, and I'm not sure if this one is going to apply well or not. But it does. Definitely has some fallout though. This is a really pretty sparkly shade. It's got, I see green, blue, pink, and purple glitter in there. Very pretty. Alright, and then the next shade is Obsession. This is a matte dark blue, like a matte navy blue. I don't know, the mattes in this palette are not on par with how her mattes usually are. Like it's a tealish blue, but not as crazy pigmented as what her mattes usually are. Kind of a bummer. There's the brush swatch. Then we've got Chastity, and this one are both very dry, chunky glitter shades. So let's see how this swatches. Not too bad, but you can tell that this is one that's going to have a lot of glitter fallout on your face. Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to want to pick up on the brush, because these kinds of shades are the ones that just work well with your fingers, and that's about it. It doesn't want to really pick up. And there's some blue left in that one. Then we have Shabari. I hope I'm saying that right. That's like a metallic green. That's really pretty. I don't like swatching on this part of my hand because it's really smooth right there, so it doesn't swatch the best. But that is Shabari. Then we have Corset, which is a matte purple. It's a deeper purple. And this one isn't too bad pigmentation-wise. It's better than the other ones in here. Let's get a brush swatch. That is Corset. Then we've got Cuffs. This is a crazy metallic silver. Like just lightly touching it is crazy pigmented. And this one actually picks up pretty decently on the brush. It's got some purple undertones in there because it picked up the purple. Then we've got, oh yeah, right, that's like French and I'm gonna butcher it. La Petite Mort. Or probably the T is silent because it's French, I don't know. This is a matte green, really pretty green, like a true green. Keep in mind that I don't have a primer on here, so it's definitely going to show up darker and better when you have a primer on. Well, that's that. Then we have Rubber, which is it looks like a matte black, but it's not like, usually she nails blacks and they're super, super dark, but this one, it's okay, it's just not crazy, crazy black. It's almost like a more of a charcoaly black. Not too bad. I don't like insane dark blacks anyway because I make a mess with them, so this is kind of a more mellow black. Then we have Fixation, which is a matte beigey color. That one's a little bit chunky, or maybe I just grabbed too much of it. Let's see. It's very light when you apply it with the brush. It's almost the same color as my skin, so it kind of wants to blend in. Then we've got, what does that say? Naughty? This one is kind of similar to that first Nylon color, only a little bit lighter. It's that grayish taupe shade. That one's really nice. That's gonna make a nice transition shade. And it picks up nicely on the brush too. So that's what I like to see out of her mattes. That's how they usually are, but for some reason a lot of them in this palette are not that great. Then we have S&M. That is a dark charcoaly gray matte. Again, doesn't wanna, there we go. That one's not too bad when applied with a brush. And then we've got Stiletto. This is like a metallic cranberry. That's definitely a nice holiday color, Christmassy. I always like to wear colors like this with gold. So like this one would look really nice with it, or this one. Oh! I didn't swatch that one, did I? Sorry, I skipped over this. I'll do that one right now. What an idiot. So this one is Submissive, going back over here. This is another chunky shade. This is more of a warm gold. This is a lighter gold, like a champagne-y almost. And it's got lots of chunky glitter in it. Let's see how well it picks up on the brush. Not too bad. So these two, you're probably going to want to use like a glitter base with, or a sticky base, or NYX's glitter glue. So sorry I missed that one. I went back to it now. To Dominatrix, which is kind of like a brighter version of Stiletto. We'll do that one. It's almost like a metallic cherry. Oh, that's so pretty. Kind of looks like the red that she had in the collaboration she did with Too Faced. That was a metallic red, right? I don't even remember at this point. I have so many Kat Von D palettes. Oh, that's so pretty. That's an awesome Christmas color too, or like Valentine's Day. That's probably my favorite color in here, actually. I really like this one too, I just wish it wasn't as chunky. And then we have Bondage, which is like the matte version of Dominatrix, so it's another cherry red. That one's actually really nice. Red is another hard color to do, but I think this one is pretty good. My brush was wet right there, so ignore that. It's kind of wanting to stick right there, but really nice reds in this palette. Then the last one is called Safe Word, and that is a kind of light mauve shade, and that's a matte. Doesn't Jeffree Star have a shade called Safe Word in one of his palettes? Ooh, drama. So that's a mauvey pink shade. And then with the brush, it's a little bit darker with the brush than with my finger. So those are all 24 shades in the Kat Von D Fetish palette. I really like it so far. I wish the mattes were a little bit better. Not all of them are terrible. Like, and they're not even terrible, they're not like what her matte shades usually are. They're usually like super soft and creamy and blendable. And, oh, I believe that was Dominatrix or Bondage. Definitely wanted to stain. So that's staining my hand right now. I can't get it off. Look, still staining. Anyway, the mattes are just not what I'm used to from her because they're usually so soft and creamy and blendable and super pigmented, and a lot of them in this one need a little bit of help. The Safe Word one was okay, was nice. The Bondage one is really nice. The lighter ones aren't that bad, it's the dark ones, like that purple one is terrible. This one has a lot of fallout. That one's glittery, but it has a matte base and it's very fallouty. I'm just trying to think of ones I've used so far. The Sex one isn't that great because it's not too pigmented. I have to play around with it and use it more on my eyes, like all the matte ones that aren't working so great for me. Because like with ColourPop, sometimes when I have issues with the mattes being super dry or something, they still perform really well on the eyes. Some of these are like that, but I've been having problems with some of them as well too, so just gonna play around with them a little bit more. This was more of like a first impressions type thing, but I couldn't really call it that because I've already used it a couple of times. Just haven't had a chance to use every single color on my eyes yet, but this is the holiday palette from Kat Von D this year. I did not get the face one, mainly because I don't like her highlighters. So, I mean, there's 3 of them in there, and I got her first highlighter palette, and one of those shades, the Rose Shock one, was in the first one, so I really don't want it again. And it's just getting horrible reviews. Like, people are saying the blush has 0 pigmentation and yada yada, so I really don't want to waste money on that if I'm not going to use it. I got the eyeshadow palette because I have pretty much every eyeshadow palette she's done. Plus I wanted to review it, and last year's holiday palette was it the Metal Matte one? No, the Cathedral one, right? Oh, I can't even remember anymore. I'm pretty sure the Cathedral one was last... Okay, anyway. So I was saying that last year's holiday palette was massive, and I was thinking of the Metal Matte one, but last year's was that Cathedral one. So Anyway, the last year's was really nice, and the metal matte one was really nice. There was a couple that she had before that where the mattes were just terrible. Like, I remember the Starstruck palette, I think it was. I know that had a lot of bad matte shades in it, but I guess, like with a lot of brands that are sold at Sephora, they rush a lot of their holiday things, and some of them just come out not up to par with what their usual products are. So I guess that happens with a lot of companies, but this is for the most part pretty nice, this palette. But I hope you guys enjoyed the swatches and everything, and I will talk to you next time.